Ah, yes, death. The one appointment we can never cancel, reschedule, or even be fashionably late for. It's there, waiting patiently, like a particularly punctual guest at a party you didn't even want to attend in the first place. And yet, here you are, still sitting around, scrolling through life, pretending it's not going to knock on your door sooner than you expect. I mean, why think about it? Who needs clarity of thought when you can drown out your fleeting existence with mindless distractions, right? But let's get real for a second. Death is about to approach you. I mean, we've all known it was coming, haven't we? It's always lurking in the background like some uninvited creeper at the edge of the party. And what have you done in the meantime? Oh, nothing much. You haven't exactly spent your days in deep contemplation. Why bother thinking clearly? That takes effort. Maybe you figured you'd get around to it later, right after that next episode, or after scrolling for just 5 more minutes. Let's face it, thinking clearly is overrated. I mean, who really needs to figure things out when you can let life carry you along in its dizzying current, tossing you from one random event to the next? Let the chaos sweep you away, because apparently, being thoughtful, deliberate, and present is just too much trouble. And speaking of trouble, oh wait, you haven't had any, right? Life's been a breeze, no trouble at all. At least none that you've acknowledged. Sure, there's been a few bumps along the way, but nothing serious. You've expertly avoided all the hard stuff. Confrontations? Nope. Deep personal reflection? Pass. Challenging your beliefs? Who's got time for that? Why would you trouble yourself with uncomfortable questions about existence, purpose, or morality? It's so much easier to coast, to live in blissful ignorance, shielded from the truth. After all, reality is so unpleasant. It's much nicer here, in the soft glow of denial, where nothing really matters. Except, oh wait, everything does. But you've successfully avoided thinking about that too, haven't you? Now, you've been free from fear of external danger too. Amazing, truly amazing. Have you been living in a bubble? No fear at all, right? Just cool, calm, collected. It's not like the world is a raging dumpster fire or anything. Why would you need to fear anything? But let's not kid ourselves. We're all afraid. We fear everything. Death, failure, being alone, being forgotten, being too much, not being enough. The list is endless, but hey, let's pretend none of that exists. Just push it all down, repress it nice and deep, and convince yourself that you're untouchable. Of course, that only works until it doesn't. And when it stops working, when the fears you've been avoiding start crawling up your spine and into your mind, it'll be too late. But don't worry, death is right there to give you a quick exit. Convenient, right? Now, let's talk about kindness. That simple act of being decent to another human being. But not you, right? You've been busy. Too busy for kindness, too wrapped up in the whirlwind of your own life to care about someone else's. Sure, you could have smiled at a stranger, helped someone out, shown a bit of compassion, but who has the energy for that? Besides, kindness doesn't really get you anywhere, does it? There's no reward for it, no medal for being a decent person. And with the world the way it is, why bother being kind when cruelty and indifference seem to be the order of the day? But here's the thing, kindness isn't about what you get in return. It's about being human. It's about acknowledging that the people around you are struggling just as much as you are, maybe even more. But hey, who cares about that when death is knocking, right? No time to fix your mistakes now. Ah, and here we are, justice. The thing that was supposed to guide your actions, the only wisdom that ever really mattered. Not wealth, not power, not fame, just the simple, straightforward pursuit of justice. But of course you didn't believe in that, did you? Justice, fairness, doing the right thing. Those were for the naive, for the dreamers who thought they could change the world. But not you. You knew better, you were practical. You played the game. You cut the corners, did what you had to do, made the deals, looked the other way when it was convenient. Who cares about justice when survival is the goal, right? Except, maybe it wasn't the goal. Maybe the goal was something else. Maybe it was about living a life that actually meant something. A life where you could look back and say, yeah, I did the right thing, even when it was hard, but here we are. Too late for that now. And now, death. Your time is up. The clock has run out. All those days, those hours, those moments you thought you had gone. And what did you do with them? Did you think clearly? Did you face your troubles? Did you live without fear? Spread kindness, fight for justice? Or did you let it all slip through your fingers? Too distracted, too complacent, too scared to act? But hey, none of it matters now, does it? Because death is here, and it's not interested in excuses or regrets. It doesn't care about all the things you were going to do, all the changes you were going to make. It's just here to collect what's owed. And what's owed is everything. So, go ahead, take a moment to think about what you've done. Or better yet, what you haven't done. Because in the end, that's what death will remind you of, not the things you did, but the things you never got around to doing. And now, as the curtain falls, here's the final, bitter truth: you were never ready. You never thought clearly, you never troubled yourself with the hard questions, you never conquered your fears, you weren't as kind as you could have been. And justice, well, that was just a word you tossed around when it suited you. But now, none of that matters. Death is here, and the reckoning has come. It's the one thing you can't avoid no matter how hard you try. So what now? Do you make peace with the life you've lived, or do you go down with regret? Either way, it's over. There are no do-overs, no second chances. Death is about to approach you, and it's taking everything with it. So go ahead, close your eyes, and let it happen. It's not like you were prepared anyway.